Discuss a continuing sewerage problem in Dublin 15.
Good morning, to be honest, I can't believe I'm here in 2025 talking about this issue, to be honest, because 14 years ago, when I was standing for local elections, I raised this issue as one of the major issues within the Mulhuddart area. And we talked on the top of a hill beside Mulhuddart Cemetery, and that piece of land now has 800 homes on it. So there are now in the region of 2,500 to 3,000 houses within the curtilage of this issue, this stench that's coming from the pipe, which comes from a pumping station in Cumbride in County Meath and in Hollystown. And it peaks at the area that I've just talked about, where there are vents, which is emanating this absolutely horrendous smell. And for the past 20 years, we've tried to get this issue resolved, tried constantly between Fingal County Council, who originally had a water department, which then transferred over to Uisce Éireann. And look, I will say in fairness, Uisce Éireann, they have come back to us on numerous occasions. They've told us that they've put a new plant machinery, new scenting machines, they've cleaned out the sewage pipes, and they've sealed the shores along the road where this problem is. But unfortunately, it keeps coming back. And, you know, I have comments here from local residents. And just even today, one of the residents said, it's been there for years, they built around it, it's rotten. It's like a rotten egg, a chemical smell or sulphur. They said it was cleared and flowing. It's back again. As long as I'm living here, the smell has always been that way, but recently it's worse. Like, it's just, you know, comment after comment after comment. And it's hard to believe when you're there, when you drive through that area, you have to roll your windows up in your car. It's that bad at times. It's not all the time, but it's consistent enough. And the reason why I'm raising it tonight is because in the last number of weeks, it's gotten really bad. And it has been raised, I think, at County Council. We've raised the Irish Water, but it doesn't seem to be resolved at this stage. And I'm really appealing for the Minister to maybe sit down with us and Irish Water and try and figure out a long-term plan for this. And in my opinion, the long-term plan is for that pipe to be moved. Because, as I said, we have a situation whereby Fingal County Council have built upwards, it's going to be close to 1,000 houses. There's 800 or 900 houses there at the moment in a place called Churchfields. Social, affordable, cost rental housing. Lovely estate, absolutely. But we said at the time, if this is not resolved, if this sewage smell is not resolved, then we're going to have huge, huge problems where we're putting people literally next to it. And that I find really, really frustrating. So I'm appealing, I really at this stage, just for the sake of the residents, there's people who've lived in that estate for 40 years in those areas. And in the last 20 years, they've been constantly told that this is going to be resolved. And unfortunately, it hasn't. And as I said, over the last number of weeks, it has just gotten really, really bad.
Deputy Minister to respond.
Thank you, Deputy, for raising this issue. And can I say I'm taking this question on behalf of the Minister for Housing. The first thing I want to say, Deputy, is that you will appreciate, you already know, that the supply of public water and provision of wastewater services in general are matters for Uisce Éireann in the first instance. Uisce Éireann has statutory responsibility for all aspects of water services, planning, delivery and operation at national, regional and local level. Neither I nor Minister Brown have an operational function in the matter to which you refer. However, we have asked Uisce Éireann for an update on your behalf. First of all, can I say that Uisce Éireann is committed to addressing odour issues and supporting communities impacted by public wastewater infrastructure. As the National Water Services provider, Uisce Éireann manages approximately 26,000 kilometres of public sewers across Ireland. This extensive network is continually monitored and maintained to ensure it operates effectively and minimises any impact on local communities. Now, in response to complaints relating to odour in the Mulhuddart area specifically, Ishgairn, and I think you referred to this, recently undertook significant improvement works upstream to enhance flows from Kilbride, County Meath. These works involved diverting flows away from Church Road and directing them eastwards. This diversion has already delivered a noticeable reduction in odour impacts across the wider area, improving conditions for residents and businesses. And just, Deputy, I would say, has this had any impact? Some of what you've said is that it seems to come and go. I'm not sure what you're saying, but certainly if that's the case, that needs to be brought to the attention of Ishgairn, because you're right, it's not good enough. But further measures, can I say, are planned for early in the new year to build on the progress, and I hope there has been some progress. These include sealing the old pipeline that is now disused following the diversion. Once sealed, the old manhole chambers will also be filled with concrete, eliminating potential sources of odour and further improving the local environment. And of course, while I personally know nothing about the specific situation, I believe that that should be prioritised. It's important to note that Ishgairn is responsible for the public wastewater network only. Odours arising from private side dwellings or internal plumbing fall outside their remit. However, it remains committed to investigating any reported issues within the public network and implementing solutions where required. Ishgairn teams continually review the network to identify opportunities for improvement and ensure that communities experience the highest possible standard of service. Ishgairn has established a dedicated team to deal with reps and queries from public representatives. I don't need to tell you what the email is. It's here. It's Oireachtas members at water.ie, and there's a dedicated telephone number also. And can I finally say, Deputy, that the Commission for Regulation of Utilities, the CRU, also provides a free complaint resolution service for customers who have submitted a complaint to Ishgairn and they are unhappy with the outcome. Again, I presume I'm telling you what you already know, but they do provide solutions.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Donnelly.
Good morning. Look, it's an interesting reply, and in some ways it probably makes sense in that the pipe is now disused and it's been moved eastwards. I'm assuming it's moved eastwards towards Damastown, because there was recently major works that had gone, pipe works along that road. And probably what we're dealing with at the moment is probably the last bits of it, because if it's not being used and it's empty, or there may be just the residue left over. And look, I'm hoping. I think what we'll do is in the next couple of months we'll just continue to monitor it. I look forward to it being sealed up and concreted over, and that should hopefully get rid of that problem along Church Road and finally get a resolution to this one. But, I do welcome the response, and I think, look, the best thing we can do at the moment is possibly just monitor this, make sure that the works that they say they're going to carry out are going to be carried out as quickly as possible. And then we may finally see the end of this problem for the residents, because, to be honest with you, it has something that has been really frustrating people over the last 20-odd years. And as I said, I just went back and checked my files, and it was 14 years ago when I first raised it. And hopefully this is probably the last time that I do. But I appreciate the response, and we'll keep it under review and see how we get on. Good morning.
Thank you, Deputy.
Appreciate it.
Minister.
Thank you, Deputy. Again, without knowing any of the specifics, I agree. Hopefully we are dealing with the final steps, as you say, that it will be sealed up, concreted over, because I agree with you, nobody should have to live with that. Again, I can just provide the response that I have here, but to say, and I think I can say this, with sincerity that Ishgairn would like to assure customers that it is committed to addressing odour issues and supporting communities impacted by public wastewater infrastructure. The networks are continually monitored and maintained to ensure that they operate effectively and that it minimises any impact on local communities. And I think from what you've said that the progress is being made, and I think the question now is to get to the end point, that you don't have to raise this again and that nobody has to respond to it again. Just to finally say that the updated National Development Plan has secured record levels of investment of €12.2 billion for the water sector, of which €11.7 billion will be invested by Ishgairn to support the delivery of key strategic projects in our cities and regions to deliver the additional water services capacity required for the new housing targets while prioritising public health and safeguarding the environment. And again, that, Deputy, is the issue you're raising here this evening. Thank you.